Hey, what's going on, everybody? Game Geezer here. I got a video I haven't posted in a while. I've been kind of busy working on this project I got going on here. I know everybody's at like CES and stuff right now for the tech stuff, so that's going to be pretty cool coming out. But for me, I've just been kind of doing this thing, building my little bookshelf case here in the wall. And I wanted to just kind of share my thoughts, maybe for somebody else who wants to do something like this. I'm not finished with mine, obviously, but I'm going to share some ideas with you. So there's a couple different ways you can go about doing this. The method that I picked was the most big pain. Now, the reason mine was such a pain is because I want mine to open and show my little tiny closet here. Now, basically, you have to set it up with some special hinges and stuff to get it to open and close like a door, and it's really hard to keep it even and all this stuff. So I'm going to share a couple different alternatives that you can do if you don't want to do this exact style, but will make your life easier. So first of all, if you're into bookshelves and you have a closet or something that you want to put the bookshelf in front of for whatever reason, just because you save space or you want to hide something in there, whatever it is, here's a couple ways you can do that. So the first method, let's say you want the bookshelf outside of the wall. You don't want it in there. You want it to sit just in front of the doorway. Some people like that because it makes it less obvious. So if you want that, then there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can put some wheels on the bottom of it, like a build-it bookshelf, or buy one that's just bigger than your doorway, and take your trim off and paint it or whatever, and just make sure that your new bookshelf has some trim. At least go and buy some trim that matches and screw it on or whatever, and you can just wheel it in front of the doorway, and you can either just have it on wheels and put some trim around the bottom to hide the wheels and scoot it left or right, or if you don't like that and you want it to actually be attached to something so it doesn't ever fall over, you can actually upgrade the backing to a thick backing on your bookshelf, and you can drill through the backing into the door, and you can leave your old door still in the frame because this is just sitting up against it with some long bolts, and then it'll open and swing with the door, or you can keep the door out of the picture and just leave it flush against the wall if you have a really fat shelf, and do some wheels on the bottom and hide them, and then maybe put some like drawer sliders bolted to the back and have it just slide left or right. But if you have a switch in the way, it won't, you know what I mean, you'll hit the switch. So that's just something that I thought about doing also. If you want the bookshelf in the wall, there's another way you can do it that's much easier than using hinges and stuff, and I'll tell you how I did mine in a second. So basically you just build a bookshelf with trim on it like this, put some wheels on it, hide the wheels with trim, everything, and just put some like handles inside, and you can roll the shelf out or roll it in, and it'll slide right in. You just build it, and you got to factor in the wheels, how tall your shelf's going to be, but you build it to be exactly just slide right in. And mine looks a little ugly because I took all the space I had. I didn't have any trim here, but let me show you some trim that you can actually roll a bookshelf into that would look a little nice. Okay, so like an example here would be like this. If this wasn't here, even if it was, it wouldn't matter on a rolling bookshelf. But if you had at least this in there, like a door frame like that, and then you just build a bookshelf with wheels on it that fits exactly, like maybe with a gap like that big or so all the way around, and you could just wheel it in, and then once the trim lines up, the trim will hide everything, and it would look great. So that's another way you can do a bookshelf like that. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but these are the ways that I came up with. Now I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, mine was a real pain, and took a lot of extra work because I had an old bookshelf that was kind of falling apart. So I had to basically rebuild it with heavy duty brackets and stuff to keep it from bowing, and some trim that matched and all kinds of stuff. And what I ended up doing was bolting it onto a piece of wood down there with it's a boat seat swivel, and they're about $5 a piece at Home Depot. And it's basically just a square clamp that has some ball bearings. See that? And then one half will stay solid, while the other half will swivel. You see? And that's made for like stools and stuff. You know, when you have a swivel top on a chair or whatever. So that's what those are for. But they work really, really well for doors and stuff. You know, but lining everything up is a big pain because my doorway is not exactly perfect, and the bookshelf fitting in there is hard to get. So like, for example, this side is like a 1/2 inch wider, this gap here, than this gap here. So how do you fix that? Well, first of all, you want to make sure your bookshelf is going to fit and open and close, because if you want a deep bookshelf, the deeper the bookshelf, the harder it is to get it to swing open, especially in a skinny door like this. So you're going to have to be really, really accurate, like within a 1/2 inch accurate, you know what I mean? So once you get it to where it opens and closes, now you want to make it look even. So what you're going to have to do, now this took me a while to figure out because I'm not a carpenter, I just wanted to do this. But I added these posts here for 2 reasons. One, when the post and the trim meet, it looks nice against the wall. Okay? And then number 2 is it helps me line everything up. So what I mean by that is I measured from the inside of the bookshelf to the edge of this post that I put, and I think I got 3 1/4 inches. So I did 3 1/4 inches, and I measured all the way down because, you know, it's hard to keep it straight. So I got it perfect here, put a screw in. And then I'd go down here and get it 3 1/4, put a screw in, whatever. And I made sure the whole, all the way up and down was 3 1/4. And then I came over here and I did the same thing. Now also, since this one was wider, this stuck out less, so it was easier to get a 3 1/4. But I had to make sure this post was wide enough that I could get a screw in the wall, but not so wide that it would bump into the bookshelf when it opens and closes. So you want to make sure that both of your posts are not so big. Mine are 2 inches, is what I ended up going with, but I almost went with 1.5. I'm kind of glad I did 2 inches. But that's just kind of how it goes when you do stuff like this. So I got a seat swivel down there, and I got one up top. And then I have a wheel to reinforce this side of the bookcase when it opens. Now, it all works well and good, but the way that the swivel has to open, I can't put trim on that side. You know what I mean? So that's just always going to have to be there. But honestly, I don't mind because I'm not really, for one, hiding anything great back there. And number 2, I wanted mine in the wall because my office is really small, and the office looks so much nicer when I got a bookshelf in the wall versus just out in this room that's already tiny. So that's why I did this. And you can see mine's coming along really nicely, actually. So I'm pretty happy with it regardless. Now when I'm done, you won't see any of these screws, because all I'm going to have to do to hide those is cut another piece of wood the same size and put some holes in the same places, and it'll slide right over those screws, but the wood will be thicker than the screws. You see what I mean? So if I put a piece of wood that's like a half or 3/4 plopped right over it, you'll still see holes, but you won't see bolts. And then I can just use some like filler or something and make it look all nice and whatever. Or not even put filler, just get like a piece of topping that looks like this and nail it over. You know what I mean? And it'll hide those. Now these here I won't be able to hide. These holes are actually here by accident. I was trying some other ideas out, so that's kind of my mistake on my first run. But these bracket holes I can't hide, but books will be in there, so it don't matter. And then for up here, to kind of hide these, to keep these from showing, I'm going to do like a piece of wood here, and it's going to have like a nice little cut, like an arch or something. And, you know, unless you're like looking right up under it, you're not going to see them, you know what I mean? So, anyways, and then for the top here, I just did a bracket to some wood to the boat seat swivel. Now I'm going to reinforce this with some more wood, you know, some stuff up here. And I'll probably even add one coming across somehow, connecting them, just to reinforce it a little bit. So yeah, building a bookshelf is a big pain if you're not used to doing it, because you got to measure a lot of stuff. So, I mean, you're going to use this tool more than anything if you want to get it done right. And I'm one of those people, when I started building this and I decided to go for the hinge method, I knew it was going to be a lot of work on me. I knew it. Before I even started, I knew what I was getting myself into. And I said, if I don't like the way it looks, I'm going to destroy it, and I'm going to build one of my easier ideas, because I'm just that kind of person. Like, if it doesn't come out the way I want, forget it. It's not worth it. I'm going to start over. I'm going to do it a better way. So I'm really glad this way is working out. But anyways, it wasn't too expensive. It's just very, very time consuming, and then, you know, you have to figure stuff out on your own. Now, since I also recycled an old bookshelf, my bookshelf was straight until the bottom. The bottom had a bowing, and it was causing it to, this side to open smoothly and that side to not open smoothly. So the way I fixed that was when I added my heavy duty hinges in, these guys right here, I just, when I was drilling the holes for it, I had my friend squeeze the sides together so it was straight. And then when I bolted it in with this, now this is keeping everything straight. So all these pieces of wood are very important with those heavy duty hinges, because they're going to keep the bookshelf straight under load. Because if they bow out a little bit, it's going to have trouble gliding open. So that's why I went for heavy duty hinges. And I got some nice backing from Home Depot also, so that's really makes the shelf stand out. You can get whatever kind of backing you want. You just go over there, start looking at backing, and they have all kinds of stuff. They got modern stuff, they got hipster stuff, they got brick looking stuff, they got just bland gray and tan or whatever you're looking for. Yeah, so you can have it look however you want, and while you're there, have them cut it too. Go ahead and measure the back of your bookshelf, because they sell these sheets in, I think they're 4x8, something like that. And I had them cut mine for me, and then when I got home, all I had to do was have some help holding it up, and then start drilling it in, screwing it in the back, and it looks great. So, anyways, that's some of my methods there. I'm going to also show you some little clips that I was sending friends as I was building this, and you can kind of see how I started and ended up here. So I didn't really want to do this as a how-to, but it turned out really well, so I'm really happy with it. So I wanted to share it with some people, give some people some ideas. Like I said, you don't have to do the hinge thing, man. You can do just a bookshelf with some wheels that rolls in and out of there, and you'll be very happy with it, I promise. But if you're really dead set on the door swinging thing, just prepare yourself for a lot of headache. If you don't want to go, you know, you can go get a pre-made one. They sell them at Home Depot as well. But you're gonna spend some good money to have what you want, probably like $800 or so. I haven't found a company that sells them very cheaply. They'll sell you hinges for $120. That'll make it easier. But for me, I'd rather just rig that up, honestly. So, anyways, guys, that's where I'm at right now on this project of mine, and all that stuff. So, I'll post another one when it's finished, and you guys can tell me what you think. I'm happy with it, and that's all that matters. I'm still gotta add some more shelves and finish the top and everything, and whatever. I gotta use add some wall in there and a crown and all that stuff. So, but when it's done, it should look great. So, you know, just sit down and think about what you want, guys. There's plenty of options, I promise. You can even probably buy a bookshelf that's just bigger than your doorway with wheels on it, and just put a skirt around it so nobody can see the wheels. And then there you go. You can just wheel it out of the way and secret door right there, you know. So just decide what you want, guys, inside or outside the wall, and then go from there. There's plenty of different ways to do it, but that's mine. So have a good one, guys. Take care, and sub and stuff if you want. I'll try to post more on it. I'm redoing my office, so you know I got a lot going on. I'm trying to finish that, make my room look better. You know, got my computer desk I built over here. I got it up away from the wall because I'm working on it a little bit. But yeah, just sub and all that stuff if you like. You can see some of my other cool videos I got, and check them out. See you later. I forgot to mention real quick, there was actually a third purpose for adding these studs in, and I can't believe it just slipped my mind. I guess because I was doing this on the spot. But when I added the trim, you see I added the screws on this side of the casing. Well, to add the trim on the opposite side, I had to add it into the stud. Which is another reason I had to measure out how thick this stud had to be, and for me it was 1 inch. Now, just depending on how much your bookcase sticks out will depend on how thick this needs to be. You might not even need one if it goes right up against the wall. But the reason that this stays here is so that when the bookcase separates, you see the trim is its own thing, and then this trim is on the case. So just kind of an important detail there that I forgot to mention. That one took me quite a bit of thinking to figure out how I was going to do it, and then because my bookshelf sticks out a little bit, and I was kind of stuck on that for a good minute trying to think of what would look best. So that will help you guys out if you are having the same issue. Just half stays here, half goes with it. So anyways, now I'm going to show you guys some of those clips of while I was building it that I was sending to some friends, and you can kind of see where it started and how it started to look as I was going through. So here we go.
No.
Not too bad. Okay, so I got all the rest of my shelves in now. You can see I got them all bolted in. I also added 4 bolts on each one, just for extra support, because I am planning on using this bookshelf under full load. So we'll see how it is. I did my best to measure from each shelf to the next shelf to keep them as evenly spaced as possible, so they just look better that way, in my opinion. So that's something you can do if you want a more even look. I mean, it's your call. You could even, you know, make like doors that open on the bottom half and then the rest like this or whatever. Or leave it the way I had it with just a couple shelves and then a tall one to put, you know, just do whatever you want, really. So there we are. Everything's pretty much ready to go. All that's left is this top piece. I'm gonna reinforce it some more, like another bracket, and then I'm gonna add some studs and another piece going from here to here. So I'm gonna have like a solid piece. I may even just do like a 2x4 all the way and bolt it together or something. Do bracket there, and then some studs, and then fill with some wall, some sheetrock and all that stuff, and then do the trim. But I got some other stuff going on, so this is gonna take me a little while. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload this video like it is, and then when I finish it, I'll show you the final product like in a part 2. So yeah, there it is. Let's open it for you. Get my tools out of the way. So there, I think that's about as far as it opens. That's where I have that cutout down there. Get my, where the trim is missing. It's hard to see it, but that's why that is what it is. Yeah, that right there, that's why that's there. So anyways, guys, that's where it's at so far. When I finish it up and it looks all pretty in here, I'll show you again the final product, but that's basically the gist of it. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm really happy with it and all that stuff. So just remember, if you're going to do one of these hinge things, just be ready. And since I opted to have a deeper bookshelf, I think mine's 9 inches and a half or a quarter or something like that. So since I wanted a standard bookshelf depth, I don't like skinny bookshelves. I think they look weird. Basically that extra inch had to come out, stick out past the wall. So that's why I had to use these studs with the trim to make it look good. So if you have a skinny doorway and you don't want these posts, you want it to be really flush, truly flush against the wall without having to use any kind of tricks, then you're gonna probably look around like an 8-inch depth or 7, between 7 and 8. Just depends on your width and the size of your bookshelf. And I think this one is 24 by 70 something. So anyways, that's what's going on, peeps. So cool. Well, I'll see y'all in the next one. Sub and all that stuff. I still got to work on it, so you'll see an update soon. Check out, there's a whole just ton of methods to doing this, so just figure out what you guys like and what's going to be easier for y'all. I know, you know, the wheel thing I think would have been better for me, honestly, in the long run. But this way's cool too. I just really like this movie style swings on a hinge bookshelf, you know. But if you decide to go for the rolling one, you can at least get full access. You know, when you roll it out of the way, you got your full doorway to move stuff in and out. So got a lot of options, guys. Just think about what you want, and you can have something looking real spiffy too. So catch you in the next one.